Hey guys, so Ella and I are out in our CRP on the edge of our property picking some mulberries today, and the one edge of our property has just mulberry trees lined, and honestly we've never done much with them other than when the kids were little we would let them pick a few and eat them, maybe put them on some ice cream or that sort of thing, but this year we thought maybe we'd try and make some mulberry jam. So we're out here to see how many we can get and how purple we can stain our hands today. Once we got the berries back to the house, I ran them through a colander and cleaned them off with some cool water just to make sure there wasn't anything extra in there like bugs or leaves or anything like that that we didn't want to incorporate into the jelly. I do believe at the beginning of the video I had said that we were going to be making some jam, but the difference between jam and jelly is jam has the chunks of fruit where you smash the fruit up, and jelly is where you cook the berries down and you're using that juice to make it. So because mulberries have multiple, they just have a ton of seeds and the stems in there, I knew that my family wasn't going to enjoy that, all the seeds. So I decided to try jelly. I think this is actually the first time I've made mulberry jelly. I have done grape jelly before, and it is a process. It's just the extra step of getting that juice takes some extra time. So once they were cleaned off, we threw them in the stock pot and just enough water to kind of cover, not totally cover the berries, but about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup, enough so it doesn't scorch on the bottom. Then I kind of brought it to a boil, cooked them down for about 10 minutes and stirred it and smashed it so you're mashing those berries up really well. Then I poured it into the colander again that was lined with cheesecloth. So you're going to want to let this drain. You can drain it right through that cheesecloth into whatever container you have underneath of there. I did also have a jelly bag, so I ended up putting the cheesecloth directly into that jelly bag and then hanging it from my cupboard so that it would gravity would help it drip a little bit. I did also have a friend in the meantime said not to squeeze it because by squeezing it, it becomes a cloudy jelly. So I did squeeze the shit out of it. I didn't have any patience, so who does, right? You just want to squeeze it and get all that juice out. So we'll see how cloudy it ends up. But, and we did actually have to go back outside and pick more berries to try to get enough juice. So that second batch that I cooked down and I actually let it rest in the refrigerator overnight. Hey guys, so it's the next morning and we have all that juice that we had worked on yesterday, and today we're going to make it into mulberry jelly. So we need 3.5 cups of juice. So the second batch of berries that we went out and picked, I put them in the cheesecloth and let it strain into the ice cream bucket overnight just to let it sit and not squeeze it like I wasn't supposed to. So we do have our 3.5 cups measured out, so I'm going to put those right into my stock pot, which is nicely stained from yesterday's berry making. So I guess that is what it is. So we're going to turn that on. I do have my lids and rims back here that will turn on also, so I'm going to get that out of the way. So what we want to do is bring it to medium-high heat and to a rolling boil. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to add my pectins. We'll get this out of the way really quick. One thing that is important and I usually always fail at is having everything ready to go in front of you. There's always something that I forget to grab. So we've got our juice in there. We're going to add the packet of pectin. I just use the Sure Gel pectin. There's lots of different ways, and actually you can make mulberry jam pectin free because of the stems. I've never done that. Just gonna stick with what I have done in the past as far as jam making, and hopefully it turns out. Definitely have had batches over the years that it's too thin, and we eat it over ice cream as some sort of a like ice cream flavoring, or it's too thick and can hardly spread it onto toast, but it still tastes good. So gotta learn as we go, right? Okay, so we want to stir that constantly, get that pectin mixed in really well, and I will add the recipe below for this one as well. Got it printed out over here so I can have a cheat sheet because I don't know this recipe by heart. First time I've done this one, so I just always try to double check myself really well. And I'm really not sure how much this is going to make. It never seems like, for the amount of time that you put into it, how much you get out of it. But man, homemade jelly just really can't be beat. And I am using the full sugar recipe. A lot of jams and jellies just take a ton of sugar, and that's typically the case. There's lots of recipes out there too that you can do low sugar, or make them with honey also. But we're going for the full boat on this one. I do have my sugar pre-measured out just to make it quick and easy. This recipe calls for 4 cups of sugar, which does seem like a lot. And like I said, all jams and jellies require a lot of sugar. One gal did say one time, she's like, yes, that's a lot of sugar, but you know, when you eat jam or jelly, it's only maybe a tablespoon or 2 at a time on a piece of toast or however you're eating it. So you're not really consuming all that sugar in one sitting. You're not going to sit down and eat a whole jar of jam, or you know, the whole batch of jam. So it's a lot, but it's not a lot at one time. So all right, so I am gonna go ahead and get this back burner going so that I can get my jar lids. I also have all of my jars in our sink down here, and our sink water gets really hot, so I am gonna just get those warmed up with that sink water just to keep the glass nice and hot. Okay, so once it gets to where it's a rolling boil that can't be stirred down, kind of getting there, then we're going to add all that sugar in and stir it up really well. Try to scrape it off the sides. This pot might just permanently be purple on the inside. I don't feel like this is going to be a very big batch of jelly, but we shall see. I will say too, disclaimer, I am not an expert jelly or jam maker, but it has become something that is kind of, I enjoy it, and I always love when we get to pull a jar of jam out of the pantry to have with toast, or kids to make peanut butter and jelly with, or whatever. It's just something fun that I don't fail at every time. So I'm sure there are people that have their own ways, and this is just how I have learned to do it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But we learn each time what to do or what not to do. Okay, so one trick I also have seen or read about is if you take a little bit of butter, skim it around the top. That'll help remove that foam. Honestly, the jelly doesn't have to look perfect. I don't mind how super clear it is, and actually I'm not sure. This looks, I think it's going to be really dark. Not sure. We'll see. I really like those lids to boil just a little bit more. Making jelly always seems like a hurry up and wait. Like, put those on finger tight. Set them to the side for now. So we'll keep doing the same thing until we have our jar full. So we do have our water started over here. So it's again hot water that we're putting it in so it doesn't break a jar from temperature change. I'm gonna actually do one jar of it's a little bit bigger. Sometimes I'll throw a jar of jelly or jam in our county fair, and I like to enter just a few things in the open show, because if you do that, you can buy an exhibitor's pass, which saves you money for the entire week, and it also gives them something to fill their building with. So if no one submitted scrapbook pages or jams, jellies, flowers, whatever it is you throw in there for, I don't know, 50 cents a piece, it gives them something to fill those building with, the building with, other than the 4-H projects. Even general projects are kind of, they're pretty thin some years, and while we try to do them, we have big expectations, at the beginning of the year when we sign up for them. I'm always happy if we just get like two submitted and go from there. So I wish we could commit to a few more of those, but anyhow, I like to do things in the open part of it, again, just to buy that ticket at a discount, because we don't show in the open show or as far as animals or anything like that. So, alright, so there is one big one. We can see how that turns out if I decide to throw that into the fair this year or not. We have the size we need otherwise. Okay guys, so here is the results from our basically 2-day adventure in making mulberry jelly. I think we did okay. It was a long process, and we did have to split it into 2 days just because of busy days, but consistency wise I think we're good, and it is a really pretty dark shade of purple. So I did have just a little bit left over that wouldn't fit in one of the jars, and we'll just eat that up with lunch and throw the rest of into the refrigerator if we have any left over. So these will sit for probably overnight. Make sure they seal good, and we process them for probably 10 minutes, maybe a little longer, just because I had this one larger jar in here. So I think we did okay. Jam making and jelly making is a lot of work, but it's also kind of rewarding to have your own jam and jelly in the pantry, something that you literally got the berries off your own land and processed and created and make yourself. So we hope you Okay, I think my mic died at the very end there, but I wanted to thank you for joining us today, and we would absolutely love if you hit that subscribe and like button and join us again next time as we document life on our little farm.